I remember when I was in middle school and it was parent-teacher conference, me and my dad, we had walked, seen all the teachers and stuff like that. And as we were coming out of the hallway, we were right there at the doors to exit. This guy walks up, like I would see him talking to other teachers, but he was never anybody I had occasion to like know what he did. I don't know how well he worked at the school or what he did. For whatever reason, he kind of knew me or knew me in passing or maybe from other teachers. I have no idea. But he asked to see my test scores. He, commended me to my dad and, showed him papers like, okay, well, whatever. Here's my scores. And on those particular scores, it showed what it was for the MAP testing or like the state testing. And everything seemed to be doing well, commended me for how smart I was or what have you. And he also looked at my reading scores, my writing scores, math scores, and things like that. The writing scores, he pointed out, because those were significantly lower than everything else in any other category, which he asked me afterwards. He was like, okay, everything seems to be going well. Why is, they're issuing writing? I'm like, I don't know. But he suggested to me, he said, well, do you write? Do you journal? You have a diary? I said, no. And he said, well, write something every day. And if you write something every day, check and see what your progress is and how well you're doing a year from now. And when you take, tests again, and just if those marks come up, he was like, because it can definitely help you. He's like, it doesn't matter what you write something small every single day. So, at first I was just kind of brushed it off like, okay, whatever. But for whatever reason, I listened to him. And I remember like the first thing that I wrote was something simple, like it was like 2 sentences about what we had for lunch that day. And maybe the French fries weren't that great. And then, another day I would write something like I was super excited because, I enjoyed the fresh fruit that we would get. And that day, instead of just 1 fruit cup, my friend gave me theirs because they didn't like the fruit. And so it would just be something simple. And those little lines started turning into paragraphs. And I share that story with you because when I was in middle school, I had no idea, like taking that one little piece of advice, how it would drastically help me these many years later. And I could literally go back and check back into any year. And this is literally just a couple journals that I have had, like with over these last 1 or 2 years. That's just from that time frame. And so literally making one small change significantly impacted the way I work. And it's not anything special, but it's just like one daily progressive step significantly helped me. And I get the comment on the channel a lot about whether it's like in DMs on Instagram or Facebook, emails, and people ask me like how you stay motivated. And I know this year in 2020, probably even 2021, for sure it'll be hard years and hard times, significantly harder than what any of us thought. And it's like, how are you, keep pressing forward, staying positive at times and things like that. And honestly, continuing to journal significantly helped me. And if like there was something that helped me to grow my channel through all the ebbs and flows of how you feel, what's going on in your personal life, and just everything else, how you manage your business, and it's just a ton of other stuff. Journaling helped me because it was one of those things. And if you follow me like on Instagram or LinkedIn or something, and you see those clips, video clips from like live streams that I'll share, is that, I talk about removing your own excuses, and constraints are just containers. And so no matter how much or how little you have, you can always do something with it. And I think 2020 made it a year when we all figure out what those constraints are. We all realize that we do or don't have as much time as we thought we had. How we really feel is, it's constantly right there, like on the tip of our tongues every day. Maybe being in the house is a problem for you. Maybe it's not. For me, I don't feel like I'm some kind of superhero, per se. I'm not trying to personify something like everything is great in life, but I really do live by the whole mantra of you have to remove your own excuses. And it sounds kind of harsh at times, depending on where you are, but it's just something that I use to remind myself that there is always going to be something. A year like 2020 is not a year like any of us ever expected, ever. But it's a year we're all having to deal with. And when you come from a place or job or something that you absolutely hate, or whatever the case is, it becomes so much easier to sit down and make a video. It becomes so much easier to plan or invest in a course or coaching or something to figure out maybe some things you could do better and to take that next step. And I remember, buying courses, going through them, sitting at work, of the 40 hours I'm probably going to work, in about 30 of those hours I'm listening to something every single day, so I'm maximizing time as much as possible, turning my car into Drive Time University and listening to a book or the course again in just the audio format, and journaling to help me keep track of my thoughts and the things that I'm grateful for and the things that were significant. And if there was something that I could say or share for those that ask and wonder how do you stay motivated and keep pressing forward, is honestly just remembering how bad things have sucked for a lot of people, for myself in certain situations, and how grateful I am that I can do this. You know what I'm saying? That I can work with amazing people from all over the world, that I work alongside of people, whose books I own when I was working a job and whose podcast I listened to when I was sitting at a cubicle in a job that I hated. And so if you're still in that space, or even though it have to be a job, it could be a company that you don't want to run anymore. Wherever the discomfort is, the frustration, I think finding one thing every day that you can be grateful for and just constantly being just, on fire constantly about the desires of your heart and what you want that to be, I think that's just so much more powerful than, the ideas and the things around, I'm not good enough, who's going to watch it, who's going to see it, is anybody going to like this, what will people say and what will people think. And one of the best things I could have learned from a mentor early on in my 20s was, what other people think about you is none of your business. And that the purpose, the reason why you're created, the thing that you're passionate about, that you literally have a burning desire to do, is so much more important. And the people that you'll impact is so much more important than the fear of a comment from somebody that you don't know, who doesn't matter if they're not your target audience, or if it's just some jerk trying to say something rude. So I just kind of want to have a real moment just to kind of share. It's not that I don't have bad days. It's not that I don't, make mistakes or something like that. It's just that I'm so much more extremely grateful than I am bitter about the algorithm. It's a pleasure to be able to have the freedom and the liberty to be on a platform like YouTube, to work internationally from home. And just even emails, text messages, Instagram, all this stuff is free. I have nothing to complain about, no matter what they change, because submitting more to the purpose for the things that I'm created to do is so much more powerful than any of those things. And it's always an ebb and flow, no matter what. So if you kind of find yourself in a place where it's just really hard, to stay on it, have your day, give yourself some grace about it, and then keep moving forward. And the guy told me, and it's crazy because I don't even remember his name. I never knew his name. It's just that daily progressive step, that one little thing just like finding gratitude, journaling every day, keeping your goal or something in front of you no matter what. Like if you can stay on fire about what you're passionate about and grateful and just honor those around you as much as possible, and like what's good about what's going on, I just think it'll be that thing, that step that you need to kind of get you over the hurdle of not feeling enough, not feeling like you can't do it, not feeling like you're smart enough or good enough or there's people that's better than you. You know, because like there's some people that's only going to hear it from you. And if you never show up, what then? You know, so, you know, I hope this kind of answers that question for a lot of people that ask, you know, that question about, you know, how you stay motivated and stuff like that. Gotta remove your own excuses. You know, if you know you get hungry and you don't want to record it, or you know, get lethargic after you eat a big meal, don't do that then. You know, if you don't have a lot of time, schedule that puppy out. You know, if you got 15 minutes, can you sit down and crank out a 5-minute quick tip? You know, what can you do? We all have constraints, but constraints are just containers. And if you can figure out how to work with the time that you have, the energy that you have, no matter what's going on, you can significantly create change in the space that you want to do that in. And I think it's so powerful and valuable. And I wish you nothing but success. Nothing but success.